Hello, good evening. My name is Catherine Kaplan from SEB Housing, and tonight we're going to run the lottery for the 5 affordable rental units at 1 University Drive South in Amherst, Massachusetts. And we're going to get the lottery underway in just a few moments. We also want to mention that we have a conference call that is running at the same time as this Zoom meeting, and it is not through Zoom, so if you do need to connect by phone, if you haven't already, I'm going to put the information in the chat here. That is the number for the conference call. So if you have any questions during this meeting, you were muted when you came into the Zoom session. You can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can type your question into the chat. This meeting is being recorded. If you need to take a look at it afterwards for any reason, it will be saved to SEB Housing's YouTube channel later on tonight. And first, I just want to give you a little bit of background information on the lottery, how many applicants applied. No need to write any of this down because it is going to be included in a handout that you receive after this session. So all households should already have a lottery application number, and that number is in the form of A dot and then a series of numbers. So in this case, your number will be A.001 through A.005. You'll have one number, that is your lottery application number. Let me know if you forgot it or you don't have that, because I will not be calling out names during the lottery. It will just be the number that you're looking for. So there are a total of 5 affordable units at 1 University Drive South, and there's 5 completed applications, so there's going to be 5 households in the lottery. 3 of those affordable units are studio units, and there were a total of 4 completed applications for those studios. There are also 2 one-bedroom apartments, and there was a total of 4 completed applications for those one-bedrooms as well. So there's also a local preference or priority for several of the units, and you were informed on your lottery eligibility notice if you qualified for that preference. In addition, there's also 2 affordable studio units that are equipped with accessibility features for persons with disabilities. And so households who require those features will have priority for those units over households who do not require the accessibility features. So really all of this is to say that as the drawing is happening tonight, you're not going to know for certain exactly where your household will fall on the waiting list, even if you are drawn first. I'm first going to need to sort the results from tonight in order to compile the waiting list. So you won't know tonight, but I will be sending you those results very soon after the meeting tonight. So we're going to have 2 drawings. So for any lottery with local preference, we have to do a drawing for households with local preference. There was 3 households that qualify for this local preference. So we're going to do the local preference drawing first, and then we're going to do a second general pool drawing with all 5 households, including those local preference households. So if you are someone who lives in Amherst, works in Amherst, you are going to hear your number twice. That doesn't mean you have twice the chance of being able to move forward in this lottery. It just means that this is the way we need to draw the numbers in order to sort the results. So you're going to hear your name called for the local drawing and then again for the general drawing. So when I do start the drawing, I'm going to put these index cards into the lottery box, and I will jot down a note for myself so I have the correct order that they were drawn in, and that will be that. So following the lottery, each household is going to be sent an email with the next steps in this process and also a summary of some of the information that you're hearing tonight. The lottery results from tonight are also going to be attached to the email that you received. So the waiting list will be attached to that email that you received tonight. And you're going to notice when you receive that email that the top households on each waiting list will be highlighted in green. And that is just indicating that those households are going to be invited to move forward in the process immediately. And the next step in the process will be to complete a lease application with the leasing office following the lottery. So the leasing office's contact information will be given to you in that email that you received. And the leasing office is also going to have your contact information after tonight. So you can coordinate with them to be able to tour the apartments, tour the property, complete a lease application, and hopefully reserve one of these affordable units. So your placement on the waiting list determines when you will be able to reserve a unit. So if after we've sorted and distributed the waiting list, if you're the first person on or first household on the 1-bedroom waiting list, for example, you'll be the first household that is able to select a 1-bedroom affordable unit. So that's why it's beneficial to be at the top of the waiting list, because you have the first choice of the unit. If you're not one of the top households on the waiting list, you're not going to be moving forward at this time. But if for any reason the top households on the waiting list ultimately do not rent a unit, households further down the waiting list will be contacted to move forward. So your takeaway should be, if after we've sorted all the results tonight, you are not one of the top households on the waiting list, we're not going to be contacting you unless one or more of the top households drops off the waiting list. And that happens pretty frequently, and there is just the 5 applicants in this lottery, so there is a good chance that you may be moving forward even if you're not asked to do so immediately. So it's also important to keep in mind that SEB Housing has already found your household is eligible for the Affordable Housing Program, but you have not been found eligible for lease eligibility by the leasing office just yet. So you want to be sure that you're not giving notice to your current landlord right away, since you don't know if you are qualified to rent an apartment at 1 University Drive South just yet. And then just one final piece of information before the drawing. These units are scheduled to be available for touring as early as Thursday of this week, and they'll be ready for occupancy soon after. But if for any reason you're not scheduled to move into a unit until after February 22nd, which is 6 months from today, you may need to undergo a second review of your income and asset information after having reserved a unit. So that probably won't happen in this case, since they are available very soon or right now, but just wanted to throw that out there. After you move in, just a reminder that you will need to recertify. As long as you live in the affordable unit, you would need to recertify either with the leasing office or with SEB, just so you maintain eligibility throughout the time that you're living there. So just keep that in mind. Just going to make sure, does anyone have any questions before I move on to the drawing? All right, so I'm going to start with the local preference households. There's 3 of them, so there's 3 cards here, and that those represent the lottery numbers for the 3 households that do qualify for local preference in Amherst. So I'm going to put them into the lottery box that I have here and just sort of shake them up. And I'm going to draw each of the households out of here, and I'm going to take a note for myself so I know when they were drawn. So we have A.003. That's the first local preference household that was drawn. And then I've got the second household, A.004. And then the last local preference household is A.002. So all 3 of those households are now going to be put into the general drawing with the other 2 households. So I'm going to have the total of 5 cards going into the box now for the general pool. And that represents all of the completed applications for this lottery. Once again, putting them in, pick it up. And then the general lottery, I've got A.005. A.001. A.002. A.003. And then the final household I'm drawing is A.004. So it was quick. You will get these lottery results from me soon after the lottery, at the latest tomorrow morning, and it will have the next steps on there for you that I mentioned. You'll be in contact with the leasing office if your application is highlighted, your application number is highlighted in green on the email that you'll be receiving tonight. So I'll wait around for just a few moments in case there's any questions. All right, thanks for tuning in. You will get an email from me and we'll be in touch very shortly. Have a good night.